One of these people was involved in an international romance which captured the imagination of the world. What is your name, please?
My name is Olga Fikotova Konoli.
What is your name, please?
My name is Olga Fikotova Konoli.
What is your name, please?
My name is Olga Fikotova Konoli.
Two of these people are imposters. Only one is the real Olga Fikotova Connolly and is the only one sworn to tell the truth.
Geritol, America's #1 tonic. Geritol, the fast-acting, high-potency tonic that helps you feel stronger fast, presents To Tell the Truth.
Now, here is our host, Bud Collier.
Thank you, good evening, and welcome once again to Tell the Truth. Now it's my privilege to introduce our panel. What is your name, please?
My name is Betty White.
My name is Jackie Cooper.
My name is Kitty Carlisle.
And my name is Gardner.
Now, these three ladies all claim to be Olga Fikotova Connolly. Obviously, only one is the real Olga Connolly. The other two have merely assumed that identity, and they're the ones who do not have to stick to the truth. Panel, as usual, in front of you, you'll find copies of an affidavit. Will you please follow along with your copy while I read from mine? I, Olga Fikotova Connolly, am a Czechoslovakian athlete. A week before the start of the 1956 Olympics in Melbourne, I met an American athlete, Harold Connolly, and our friendship continued throughout the course of the Games. Both of us set new Olympic records in our events. I won the gold medal in women's discus throw for Czechoslovakia, and Harold won first place in the hammer throw for the United States. 3 months after the Games, Harold Connolly came to Prague and asked me to marry him. The authorities hesitated to grant permission until I made a personal appeal to the president of Czechoslovakia. We were married in Prague, March 27th, 1957. 20,000 people came to the wedding. We are now living in this country. Harold is teaching school, and I am continuing my studies. Both of us are still actively engaged in athletic competition. Signed, Olga Fikotova Connolly. Now, panel, as you heard, these three ladies all claim to be Olga Connolly, Olympic discus champion, and only the real one, of course, must answer your questions truthfully. Each of you will question until you hear this signal. At the end of the questioning period, you'll be asked for the vote for the person who, in your opinion, is the real Olga Connolly. And we'll start tonight's first round with Jackie Cooper. Jackie?
Number 2, why did the authorities hesitate to grant you permission to get married?
Well, because I just won the medal, and probably they didn't want me to go away.
I see. Number 1, it says that you were married. What was the name of your best man at the wedding?
My best man is, his name is Zatopek. Zatopek, he is a marathon runner.
And number 2, it says 20,000 people were at your wedding. Now, how many did you invite?
10.
Oh. Why did your husband, number 3, why did your husband wait 3 months after the Games to come back and ask you to marry him?
Well, after the Olympics, I went different way, and he went different way.
Oh, I see.
And
Kitty?
Number 1, what is the name of the biggest shoe manufacturing in Czechoslovakia?
oh, Bacha.
Number 2, is there any difference between men's discus throwing and ladies' discus throwing?
Yes, in the weight of the disc.
In the weight?
Yes.
Number 3, you were married in Prague in a church?
In 2 churches and in 1 city hall.
Oh, you're married. Number 1, when you want to be a clinging vine and you want to say to your husband, something like the vacuum cleaner's too heavy to pick up, or I can't lift the bag, what does he say? You know, does he say, if you can't lift it, throw it, or what's he say?
I didn't understand what I have to be.
Well, when you if you say this something's too heavy to lift, like the vacuum cleaner, will your husband help you with it?
Oh, yes, I say, oh, and my husband picks it up.
Hi, Gardner.
Very good.
Number 3, where is Harold teaching school?
In Boston,
Where at?
it's the Edison High School, junior high school.
Uh-huh. Number 2, what is he teaching?
He's teaching geography, and that's it.
Where, dear?
At the Madison High.
Madison High?
The Madison High, yes.
Where is that?
That's near the Beacon Point.
In what city?
In Boston.
Oh, in Boston. Is that true? Is it in Boston, number 1, where Harold is teaching?
Yes, it is in Boston. I don't know too much Boston. It's such a complicated city, but it is in Boston.
Complicated city. Number 1, what are you studying?
I am studying medicine in a Boston University. Yes.
Betty White, and incidentally, Betty, welcome.
Thank you, but it's fun to be here on this side of it for a change. I watch you every week. Number 3, how do you spell Czechoslovakia? C-H-O-S-L-A-V-E-R. Well,
Spelling Czechoslovakia.
because we spell a little bit
That's
different in
Czechoslovakia,
America.
yeah.
Well, any girl that can expect 10 at a wedding and cut the cake to feed 20,000, this I gotta say. Number 2, what part of Australia, in what part of Australia is Melbourne?
Melbourne is in Virginia, province of Virginia.
Province of Virginia?
Well, I'm afraid that's it, panel. Time is gone. We have to now do a little non-consulting and voting. So will you please mark your ballots, and in so doing, select number 1, number 2, or number 3. May I remind you that the team of challengers gets $250 for every incorrect vote. All ready, panel? Betty is marking hers slowly but surely. You ready, Betty? For whom did you vote?
Holly! Well, I voted for number 3 because I can't spell Czechoslovakia either.
Jackie, what about your selection?
Well, I voted for number 1 because I didn't get many satisfactory answers, but the letters on her sweater are the only ones that are sort of sewn on like they've been there for a while. Is that all right?
Kitty, whom did you select?
Well, I voted for number 1. I think that with the way she said, oh, when it's time to pick up the vacuum cleaner, so...
It's a great way to judge an athlete, isn't it? Hi, Gardner, your vote, please.
Well, I voted for number 2 strictly on a hunch. She looks like the type who likes to throw things.
All right, there you have it. The 4 votes of our panel and the reasons why they voted the way they did. And we'll find out now whether we're right, you're right, or just who is right as we discover which one of these charming ladies is the Olympic discus champion. So, will the real Olga Fikotova Connolly please stand up? Thank you very much, Mrs. Connolly. Number 2, would you tell us who you really are and what you do, please?
My name is Nina Perlan. I come from Poland, and I'm associate producer at Dumont Television.
And number 3, what about you?
My name is Roma Prima. I'm Ukrainian, and I'm a professional dancer, and I teach ballet.
Well, by checking up a little bit here, we find that there were 2 incorrect votes at $250 each for a total of $500 from Geritol. Thank you very much, ladies. Hope you enjoyed your visit. We certainly enjoyed meeting you. Good night and good luck. Now, may we have our next team of challengers, please?
What is your name, please?
My name is Harold Connolly.
What is your name, please?
My name is Harold Connolly.
What is your name, please?
My name is Harold Connolly.
All right, panel, as you probably guessed, one of these men is the husband of Olga Pikatova Connolly, the young lady you just met. Now, may I suggest that you refer to her affidavit, as all the facts you need to know about Mr. Connolly are contained in that affidavit. Gentlemen, would you please come down and take your places now? All right, here we go again, panel, this time to discover the husband in the case. And we start this round with Kitty Carlisle. Kitty?
Number one, it says here that you are a hammer. You're a hammer thrower.
That's correct.
What's the farthest anyone has ever thrown a hammer?
Well, right now I hold that record at 224 feet.
224 feet.
Yes, ma'am.
Number two, when you throw a hammer that far, who picks it up?
Usually I have to get it myself.
Number three, it says here that you waited 3 months to marry Mrs. Connolly. Why'd you wait that long?
It took me time to get from here to there.
You mean you came back to America?
Yes, ma'am.
Number one, what kind of a hammer do you throw?
It's a hammer. It's a round ball with a piece of wire attached to it.
You say it's a hammer that isn't?
Pardon, ma'am?
You said it's a hammer that isn't?
It is.
Oh.
It is.
Huh?
Hi, Gardner.
I didn't
You
understand
can
your
pursue as
question.
you wish.
Yeah, you mean it looks more like a bomb than a
That's
hammer?
right.
Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Number one, what does your wife look like?
My wife? Well, she stands about 5'9". She's about 160 pounds.
I mean, facially.
Facially? She's very nice looking. I mean, I don't
Number two, who was the best man at your wedding?
Emil Zatopek.
Number three, how do you spell your wife's name?
Which name?
Second
O-L-G-A?
name.
It's F-I-K-O-T-O-V-A.
Uh-huh. Number one, how do you spell your wife's name?
You're very embarrassing right now. Her second name?
Yes.
I'm going to skip that one, if you don't mind.
Betty?
Uh-huh. Well, number two, when is your wedding anniversary?
It's on the 27th of March.
What day of the week were you married?
I guess Wednesday.
Oh, well. Number three, what day of the week were you married?
Thursday.
Number one, what's the date of your wedding, the full date?
What day of the week? Wednesday.
No, what date? The
27th of March, excuse me.
What year?
1957.
From the sound of the hammer, it sounds like an easy one to hit your thumb with anyway. Are you very handy around the house?
Well, normally I carry it with me. It works out.
Jackie Cooper.
Number two, where do you live in this country now?
In Boston.
And who's the mayor there?
Hines.
Hines. Number one, who's the mayor of Boston?
Mayor Hines.
Mayor Hines. And what was number three? What was the number of feet that your wife threw the discus?
In the Olympics?
Yes.
When she won?
Yes.
176 feet, 1.5 inches.
Uh-huh. Number one, what does the hammer weigh that you throw in the Olympic Games?
16 pounds.
And in scholastic games over here in high school, what does it weigh?
It's the same.
It's the same.
That's it, panel. Once again, it's time to vote. Even though Kitty was chewing her nails wanting to ask one more question, there's no time for it. So will you mark your ballots and select number one, number two, or number three? Ready? You marked already?
Oh, I've got it all right here.
For whom did you vote this time?
This time I voted for number three because he said, of course, I'll take either one of the other two rejects, you know. But he said his name as though he's been saying it all his life.
When he first announced it up at the top there, huh? All right, Jackie, what about your selection?
I voted for number one because the people on the right of me voted for number three, and the people on the left of me voted for somebody else. I'm very confused.
Kitty, what about your selection?
Well, I voted for number two. And shades of Polly, I think it's number three. But I voted for number two because he's the only one that has a Boston accent. And I think when his wife would say, oh, he'd help her.
All right. Hi, Gardner, what about your choice?
Well, I voted for number two because he had the name of the best man, the same as his wife did. And that's a pretty tough name to remember.
Of course, you didn't ask the other two, but that's unimportant, I suppose. All right, now, we've had our votes, and we've given you our reasons, and instead of asking the real Harold Connolly to stand up this time, here is Mrs. Connolly again. Now, Mrs. Connolly, would you do us a favor and come down and identify your own husband for us? Just a minute till we find out about the other two. Number one, would you tell us who you really are and what you do?
My name is Alec Webster. I work for Trico Refrigeration in New Brunswick, and during the football season, I play right halfback for New York Football Giants.
And number three, sir, what about you?
My name is Don Cooper, and I am a sales representative for the largest men's clothing manufacturer in the world, Joseph H. Cohen & Son.
Thank you, sir. Now, I think, Kitty, you had something.
Well, I just knew it was number two because of the way he looked at her when she was standing up there. Otherwise, he was flirting with her.
And Betty, you indicated you had a question you wanted to ask one of them.
Number one, are you married?
Checking up on our score again, we see that there were two incorrect votes at $250 each for a total of $500 in Geritol. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Good night and good luck. Now let's meet our third team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is Roy Green.
What is your name, please?
My name is Roy Green.
What is your name, please?
My name is Roy Green.
Very well, panel. You've had a look. Will you now direct your attention to your copies of another affidavit? I, Roy Green, was born and raised in London. In 1952, I decided to come to America and study to be a cowboy star. After my training, I returned to England, where I became one of the top names in the Western field. I performed on television and also made personal appearances on the stage and in department stores. 3 million cowboy guns have been sold under my name, as well as cowboy suits, spurs, harmonicas, lariats, comic books, and bubble gum. In England, I am known as Steve Larrabee, the Lone Star Rider, signed Roy Green. All right, panel, these three persons all claim to be Roy Green, British cowboy. Let's find out by starting with Hi Gardner. Hi.
Well, Roy, which one of... Oh, number one. Roy, what are you fellows in Britain doing these TV shows with Westerns used for Indians?
Scapegoats, mostly. In radio?
Scapegoats? Yeah, Indians. I mean, here we have Indians always losing. Who, number two, do you use instead of Indians in British TV?
Usually soldiers.
Soldiers.
Yes.
What nation?
English.
What nations? English
Oh,
soldiers?
very English.
Three, in what large department store in London have you made personal appearances?
There's a store called Gamages and Hamleys and Selfridges.
Uh-huh.
More?
Number three, where is Scotland Yard located?
Well, it isn't in Scotland, it's in London, actually.
Yeah, what important building?
Betty?
Number two, how do you spell Czechoslovakia? Number two, what is the name of your horse?
My horse is called Smokey.
Smokey. Number one, what's the name of your horse?
Smokey.
Number three, what's the name of your horse?
Smokey.
Oh, you've all talked to each other.
On top of all.
Number three, who was William S. Hart?
William S. Hart was an actor, I believe a British actor, who played cowboys, American cowboys.
And number two, on what part of your body do you wear a lariat?
You don't.
Number one, on what part of your body do you wear a lariat?
You don't.
Number three, on what part of your body do you wear a lariat?
I don't.
Leaving the parts of the body, we'll go to Jackie Cooper. Jackie?
Number 2, who's the fastest drawer in Piccadilly?
Don't tell him.
Number 1, do you know the fastest time, or rather the time of the very quick draw yesterday that Rod Red Wing made on a television show, one of the fastest draws from a holster ever made?
Not exactly, no.
Not exactly. You don't have a rough idea either, do you? No. What type of gun have you got in your holster now? Could you tell me?
Colt.
Colt?
Peacemaker.
What model is it?
Well, it's an Army Peacemaker.
Kitty?
Number 1, all cowboys have a theme song. What's yours?
On top of Old Smoky.
Did you pick that yourself?
I did.
Number 2, can you name 2 television networks outside of BBC?
Yes. In England, we have the Granada Circuit, there's Associated Rediffusion.
And who runs Granada?
Granada's Bernstein.
Number 3, do you approve of bubble gum for children if they don't burst it all over their faces?
Well, don't bring it near me, I do, yes.
You do? Number 1, is the toy department at Harrods on the ground floor?
No.
It isn't. Number 2, where's the toy department at Harrods?
3rd floor.
Number 3, where is it?
I don't know.
Where'd you study to be a cowboy, number 1?
In Phoenix.
That's it. Time once again to vote, panel. So will you please once more mark your ballots for the one you think is the right one, and in so doing you will select, of course, either number 1, number 2, or number 3. Hey, fast that time, Betty. For whom did you vote?
Well, this time I think I could figure it out logically, because the first time it was number 1 and the second time it was number 2, so this time I voted for number 3 again, but I haven't been right yet.
Okay. Jackie, what about your selection this time?
Well, I voted for number 2 because, first of all, number 1 is carrying an Army 45 revolver, which is not a peacemaker, and number 3 didn't know who Bill Hart was, so I voted for number 2.
Kitty, what about your vote?
I voted for number 2. Well, I thought he had more of a cowboy face. And I thought he had the best answers.
Face would look better on top of Old Smoky.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Hi, Gardner.
I voted for number 3. I think he looks like a British cowboy.
All right, there we have it now. Our votes are in. How are you doing at home? All right, let's find out right now which one of these gentlemen is the real star British cowboy. So, will the real Roy Green please stand up?
Oh.
Worked out fine, didn't it?
Bill Hart was not an English actor.
Now, wait a minute. I have some information.
He was a Shakespearean actor,
I have
but he
some
was...
information for you. He was an Englishman, born in England, and he acted over there. That is true.
British actor.
British,
He was
I beg your
Canadian.
pardon.
William
British.
S. Hart was Canadian British actor.
I didn't know that. I knew he was a Shakespearean actor.
Well, there you are, you see. All right, now, number 1, would you tell us who you really are and what you do, please?
My name is Tim Bradbury, and I'm an automobile salesman with Roots Motors on Park Avenue, selling Hillman Mink and Sunbeam.
What about you, sir, number 2?
My name is Kenneth Young. I'm a sculptor and artist. My wife and I are over here touring the United States.
Well, that's it. We have certainly been consistent tonight, panel. Believe me. There we have it again. 2 incorrect votes at $250 each for a total of $500 from Geritol. Thanks a lot, gentlemen. Good night and good luck to you. Well, that's all the time we have for tonight, panel, except to thank both Betty White and Jackie Cooper for being with us tonight, and you'll both be back next week.
Yes.
So we'll see you even more then, have some more laughs, we trust, at the time. Good night, panel.
Good night,
Good night,
Bob.
Bud.
Now, this is Bud Collier saying good night from Geritol and reminding you to tell the truth. Good night, everybody.
To Tell the Truth is the Mark Goodson, Bill Cogden production, in association with the CBS Television Network. Western attire courtesy of Miller Harness Company, New York City.